Okay, so let's take a look at how you can plot the contour plot in Python using Matplotlib library. So first thing, make sure you have Python installed. Second thing, can use pip install Matplotlib to install that graphic library. Next thing, we will also use Jupyter-lab, right? And once we do that, we are ready to run the Jupyter server. So use Jupyter-lab. This should open up a new window within which you will find Jupyter dashboard, and from there we can open a notebook, right? So that will allow us to run our code, right? So the first thing within this particular part of our plot, we will need numpy as np, and we import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, right? Once we have these things, we need to think of having some values with our x and y values, right? So we use np dot mesh grid, and within that function I will be adding np dot linspace, right? And it will take -5, 10, 100, and then comma np dot linspace again, and repeat -5, 10, 100, right? And close this, and we are good to go with xy values. Now next thing, we need value for z. So np dot square root sqrt, and within that function we'll be passing x raised to 2 plus y raised to 2, right? So we have these for our value of z, right? Now once we have that, we can go ahead with figure and axis, and then we can use plt dot subplots, right? Then we use ax dot contour, right? And then inside that we use x, then y, then z, right? Finally we will use plt dot show, right? If we run this, we have our basic contour plot. Notice that I didn't add any fill color, only the color generated for our xyz from the system itself, right? So if you want to use color, we will take a look at that part later. Now alternatively, instead of using xyz, you can also create contour plot out of value of z alone, and that would be a little bit different, as you can see, a little bit different, and it will try and show you the alternative way of plotting your contour plot, right? You can also add labels. So say if I want to use xy values, x, y, and z, and then levels, so levels of 50, I can use that to plot my contour plot, and it will also look like this. Now notice that there is some form of gradient generated by system here, right? Now you can also change the colors using cmap. So say within single quote I will be adding reds, right? So if we do that, it will generate the reds, right? So there is also jet, if I remember. Not sure it should work well with your contour plot, but let's try to find out. Yes, jets also work, and there is also gray, so your contour plot will be of gray field for those lines, right? Then you have option to change color for each line of values there. So for x it would follow some color, for y and z respectively. right? So if I choose colors equals to, then within square bracket inside that we use this G, then K, comma, then let's say R for red. So let's see if this works, and it does work, right? As you can see, we managed to get the custom colors or multicolor scheme for contour lines. Then as you can see, we have this line and width option as well. Next we can take a look at is line styles. So line styles equals to, let's say, dashed, right? And then line width set to 1.2 or something. Let's see if that works. And we got our lines into dash, right? Okay, now there are few things that we can change within our contour map. Let's say if I want to add fill within my contour map, what I can do is I can simply change contour function to contour F, right? And if I run this, it should show me contour map that looks like this. Can also add alpha, right? So alpha value set to 0.4. Okay, now if I select everything, run, it should look something like this, right? So play around with these set of values. You can also add lines, so you can use color, right? So set K for black, and we're trying to run this. Sorry, so here notice that it will take everything to black, and you will have to change your lines, right, to white, right? So for that we will have to change this to something like, say, G, and run, and everything is now green. So you'll also have to use alpha to make it even viewable. Select everything and run, and it will load something like this, right? So if I change this to 0.20, run, it should look something like this. So play around with the type of color you want for your contour lines, and that should work, right? Then there is also CMap option that we can try, which would allow us to play with colors. So we can use CMap, and then here I can use plasma. Let's see if that works. And we have plasma color. You can remove the alpha if you want, and there you go. It should look in original color. So this comes in handy for you to try with. There are also color bars you can try, right? So for color bar you have to manually set the values for your label, X and Y labels, right? So you may want to try that, right? So you can explore the color bar options on your own. Okay, now there is one more CMap change we can make, which is with RDGY, which is kind of popular for those who usually make contour maps, right? As you can see, for those volcanic kind of views of your data, you can use RDGY. That will give you output like this, right? Now few more things you can do is you can also add your color bar, right? So if you haven't tried it on your own, you can try this. So first set aspect and set it to equal within single quote, set it to equal. Then you use CF, where you can use AX dot contour F, and within that function you use X, then Y, then Z. Then you give your figure to use color bar, right? For that you will be passing in CF and your axis, right? So CF then axis set to axis, right? So if I select everything and run, so sorry, accidentally I added the CF at the top of the input statement and caused the error. So here you get the color bar, right? So here however our CMap value will be ignored, right, and kind of override, to be honest. So it works with only gradient field, otherwise color bar will try and override. Okay, now we can also add x and y labels. So for that we use set underscore x label, and here we can use x value, right, and then x set underscore y label, and then we set y value, right, and within that we get these two values of. Also we can set our contour map title with dot title method, right? So contour map, and we close everything. So select all the code, run it, and now let's make the change, which is set underscore title, and run this again, and we have our change of title as well. We also got our values to x and y, then we also got the title for the contour map along with our color bar. So we are pretty much set, and we managed to draw the contour map with various custom options.